With all the set photos, leaked casting, and rumored story details coming out, I'm starting to get a little worried about Spider-Man Brand New Day, and after the ending of No Way Home where Peter is not Iron Boy Jr. anymore, I became insanely optimistic.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect.
I'm not saying this movie will be bad by any means, I hope it's amazing.
Say that again?
I've seen the set videos from Scotland and it looks incredible. And the suit? It's literally peak cinema. I'm just worried it might follow the same path as other films. And my main worry is too many damn villains. Right now, based on all the leaks and casting confirmations, Spider-Man Brand New Day will feature at least 4 major threats: Scorpion, Punisher, and the Rhino, and to everyone's surprise, the Hulk. With rumors of Kingpin possibly returning as well. And according to insiders, the main villain is someone we've never seen before. And I get it, these are all popular characters, but stacking them together in a story that's supposed to rebuild Peter Parker, that's where I get really concerned. Because we've seen this twice before, and let's just say, it didn't end well for Tobey and Andrew. First, Spider-Man 3. This was supposed to be the emotional payoff of the Raimi trilogy. Peter facing his darkest self, Harry confronting his legacy and wanting to kill Spider-Man, and a deeper look into Peter's guilt over Uncle Ben's death. That's already enough story for one film, but then Sony stepped in and forced Venom into the movie, a character Sam Raimi didn't even want to use. Why, you ask? Because the studio thought Venom was popular and would sell toys. So now you've got Sandman, Harry is a new Goblin, and Venom all crammed into one movie, each fighting for screen time. As a result, Sandman's emotional arc gets cut short. Harry's redemption feels rushed, and Venom, one of Spidey's most iconic enemies, is one of the worst Spider-Man villains I've ever seen. He barely gets 10 minutes of screen time before being yeeted out of existence. And don't get me started on his hideous design. Spider-Man 3 didn't fail because of bad ideas. It failed because of overload and studio pressure. There were too many plot threads, no time to develop them, and most importantly, Peter's journey got lost in the chaos. But before I continue, I want to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by September, and it would mean the world to me if you subscribed. And then there's Amazing Spider-Man 2. Even though the suit design is peak, it is possibly the worst live-action Spider-Man movie ever. And that's a fact, not an opinion. I know that may trigger some of you, but it's true. You had Electro, you had skin-infected Goblin, you had flippin' Rhino all teasing the Sinister Six, you had Peter's parents and Oscorp conspiracies. And again, this wasn't about the story, it was about franchising. Sony was trying to launch a cinematic universe in one movie. They were chasing Marvel's success without laying the groundwork first, and it backfired. Electro's motivations made no sense. He hated Spider-Man because he forgot his name? Come on, really? If that's enough to make you become a villain, then I should have become one a long time ago. Because brother, that's not a villain arc, that's a literal meme.
You stupid.
And then there's Harry, whom we didn't even hear about in the first movie. His goblin transformation came out of nowhere.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
I kid you not, he just showed up in the movie, had a conversation with his dying dad about a rare genetic virus, and became evil. What an origin story. Oh, and Rhino? He was only there for sequel bait, literally a cliffhanger in a mech suit. And don't forget the ridiculous side plot about Peter's dead dad working on a secret subway train.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
The storyline went nowhere, added nothing to Peter's arc, and just bloated the movie's runtime.
Oh man, you're just ruining it. Look at my lips, you're ruining it.
And worst of all, Gwen Stacy's death. One of the most powerful moments in Spider-Man comic history. That felt like an afterthought. Not because the scene was bad, but because we were never given time to sit with it. There was just so much noise, it barely had any room to land. Well, not the way you were thinking, and you know exactly what I mean. But that was then, and now we're starting to see the same warning signs starting to creep into Brand New Day, starting with the villain lineup. The first villain we have confirmed is Scorpion, and it looks like he's escaping the classic MCU curse, where they tease new characters in post-credit scenes but never actually follow up. Matt Gargan, aka Scorpion, was introduced all the way back in Homecoming, and he wasn't a background extra. He had lines, presence, and even threatened Spider-Man in the post-credit scene.
This? It's not on you. It's on our little spider friend. I've got some boys on the outside who'd love to meet him.
It felt like a setup, and then nothing, until now, because Michael Mando is officially back. This could have been the perfect solo villain arc. Imagine Peter, post No Way Home, being broken anonymous, rebuilding his life in New York, and meanwhile Gargan is rising through the criminal underground. He remembers everything Spider-Man did to him. He's furious. Maybe he gets enhanced gear from damage control or something, or someone shady like Kingpin. And now he's not just chasing Spider-Man, he's hunting him. That's all you need. One villain, one vendetta, a grounded street war between two guys with nothing left to lose. Gargan pushes Peter to his limits, and Peter, without any backup, has to fight smart, desperate, and alone. That movie would have felt like a true reset, personal, focused, and real. That's what Spider-Man fans want. But instead, Gargan isn't alone. We got the Punisher, the Rhino, and the Hulk. And this is where things start to get very interesting and concerning, by potentially making the same mistakes as Spider-Man 3 and Tasm 2. Because after Scorpion, you'd think we'd be done. One villain, one street level threat. That's the movie we were promised after No Way Home. But instead, we're bringing Frank Castle, Rhino, and Bruce Banner? That's on a reset.
Oh shit, not good.
That's a team-up movie, like a mini Avengers or something. And let's start with the Punisher. Jon Bernthal is confirmed to return as the Punisher, and it's problematic. While he's perfect for the role, Punisher isn't a cameo, he's an ethical bomb. That shifts the movie's tone to darker, more bloodier themes. This forces a discussion on justice versus vengeance, something we already saw in Daredevil Season 2, which doesn't fit a Spider-Man movie at all. Peter just hit rock bottom, he lost everything. He's supposed to be rebuilding himself from the ground up, and now you're throwing him into a philosophical war with a vigilante who shoots first and never asks questions? It's not earned. He shouldn't be there. Well, at least not yet. Then we have the Rhino. There are currently many rumors from the set of Brand New Day in Scotland that people have seen a Rhino head prop, and if he's in it, I want one quick street level set piece and then we move on. Like an opening montage that catches us up on what Peter has been doing while he fights a Rhino. And last but not least, we've got the Hulk.
I'm so confused.
These are confusing times.
Mark Ruffalo is confirmed to appear in Brand New Day. We don't know how big the role is. Maybe it's a cameo, maybe it's something more. But either way, the second Hulk walks into the story, the scale shifts. You've gone from grounded crime to Avengers chaos.
That is an Avengers level threat.
Even if Banner's just here to talk science or give Peter advice, his presence reminds the audience that this is still part of the MCU machine, and that's the exact opposite of what No Way Home set up. This should not be a potential setup for World War Hulk or Young Avengers. Peter doesn't need Banner's help because this was supposed to be a Spider-Man story, not the Defenders 2.0. And then there's Ned and MJ. Even though some of you might not think too much about this, I find it really annoying that they're back, especially MJ, because more than the villains, more than Hulk or Punisher, this is the part that undercuts the entire emotional core of No Way Home. At the end of that movie, Peter Parker made the hardest choice of his life. He gave up everything, not just to save the multiverse, but to protect the people he loved. He let MJ and Ned forget who he was. He chose to become a stranger to the only two people who truly knew him. And that final scene in the coffee shop, it worked because it was devastating. Peter saw MJ with a scar from the final battle and realized the danger he brought into her life, and chose to walk away. Not for himself, for her. That's what made it land, and that's what made it heroic, and that's what made it real. But now, MJ and Ned are back, not for cameos, not for flashbacks, and according to reports, they have major roles in this movie, and to me, that completely breaks the emotional logic of the last film. If they suddenly remember Peter, what was the point of the spell? And what the hell was the point of the sacrifice? If it gets reversed this quickly, then that ending becomes nothing more than a temporary cliffhanger. And if they don't remember him and they're just back in Peter's life coincidentally, then why are they there at all? The beauty of No Way Home's ending was the clean slate, Peter alone, starting over and letting go. This movie should lean into that. Let MJ and Ned move on. Let Peter watch from a distance, quietly mourning what he gave up. And that could be so powerful. But no. Instead, we're dragging them right back into the story. And to make it even more interesting, Sadie Sink is in this movie too. She's reportedly playing a major new character, probably as Gwen Stacy, and at first, that sounds perfect. Peter is meeting someone new, a fresh relationship, a chance to build something honest from scratch, without any masks or magic. That could have forced Peter to grow, to wrestle with his past, to earn his next connection. But if MJ's in the movie too, and Sadie's playing a new love interest, then what the hell are we doing here, guys?
What the hell?
Are we setting up a triangle, or are we just hedging bets to see which dynamic fans like more? Because none of that sounds like actual growth. It sounds like regression. And all of this brings me back to the biggest problem. This was never supposed to be a crowded story. Marvel said this would be a reset, back to basics, just Peter surviving in New York, and that final swing in No Way Home, it nailed that promise. But now, this is starting to feel like a street-level Avengers movie, not a Spider-Man 4. Peter is losing himself to an overabundance of characters, which can prevent us from seeing the Spider-Man movies fans actually want. And that's why I'm worried, and I pray to God that I'm wrong. And if you liked this video, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed, liked, and let me know what you think of this movie so far. And check out my latest video on the top 3 most shocking Avengers Doomsday theories.